Oculus just disappeared from the internet, and at the time of this recording, it is completely broken. Resident Evil 4 is being altered in major ways, and somehow Respawn Entertainment cracked the secret to porting massive games to the Quest, and we have many more game updates. There's just so many game updates this week, it's ridiculous. I'm Panda, this is Untitled Series, all of that, but first, VR Wave are prescription lens inserts that make gaming in VR much easier. If you wear glasses, nothing is more frustrating or scary as wearing glasses in a VR headset, as it's so easy to scratch your glasses or the headset lenses themselves. VR Wave protects the lenses and can even protect your eyes with the blue light filter. Right now, you can get these lenses for 5% off with code VIRTUALPANDA. Check out the link in the description to learn more. Facebook is having a major server issue right now, preventing people from accessing Facebook or its services. In fact, while I'm making this video, this is still going on. Now, I was able to use my headset, which was a massive relief, but many core Oculus services were completely broken, and any game that used Oculus's servers were in every way completely unusable. And that's a lot of games, by the way. Now, I was actually able to open up my absolute favorite game, this Unity Cube game, which if you haven't played it before, you should really check it out. It has better, more faithful graphics than even games like Half-Life Alyx, and it's even running on Quest. Just absolutely phenomenal game. And honestly, I'm not sure why I need any other games outside of this one. This one could keep me entertained forever. But outside of that, Blast On seemed to work fine, as well as a few others. But several, like Population 1, were completely broken. Now, we don't know what happened, and if you're watching this in the future, the servers might be already fixed and you might already know what happened, but it is still going on right now. Things still just aren't working, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Also, real quick, I just want to apologize if my avatar looks a little weird. I know my talking right now, I need to work on the visemes for the talking. The mouth movements looks like I have my tongue out the whole time. I don't know. This is an avatar I've been working on, guys, so just I know it looks creepy. Just chill. I'm working on it. Moving on, the Valve Index just became the second most used headset on Steam, overtaking the Oculus Rift S. Now, this is a big deal because previously the top two most used headsets were both Oculus headsets, the Oculus Quest 2 and the Rift S. This shift from the Rift S to Index could mean that many PC VR users who had a Rift S are now shifting over to using the Valve Index. On the other hand, the percentage of Quest 2 users also grew, which means that many Rift S users could have also just shifted to the Oculus Quest 2. Overall, the number of Steam users with a VR headset grew slightly to 1.8%. Speaking of the Valve Index, sadly it's Bradley, after months of looking into patents and code leaks, has put together a pretty solid picture of what the future Valve headset will look like. In his video, he reveals code referencing a device called the Deckard, which he thinks is in reference to Blade Runner's protagonist, Rick Deckard. The headset itself is rumored to be a semi-standalone experience using new systems called Prism and VR-Link. We also know that the Deckard POC-C exists. This is in reference to Proof of Concept version C. Honestly, there's a lot going on here, and Brad went super in-depth in his latest videos and live streams about it, so I really recommend you check that out if you want to learn more. Jurassic World Aftermath just released Part 2, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm really pissed about it. The game launched last December as a quick Christmas cash grab, in my opinion, because the game just wasn't finished. The game ended at a pretty awkward spot with a major cliffhanger. We then found out that the rest of the story would be released later as a DLC to the game. Well, it turns out this DLC to finish the game that you bought last year is going to cost you another $15. That's right, if you want to finish the game, you're now going to have to fork over another $15 on top of the $25 you already spent. And if you're playing the game for the first time now, the whole story mode is going to cost you $40. A bit high for a Quest title, in my opinion. Now, I haven't played this Part 2 yet, so I can't really say if the full game is worth $40, but this sudden shift to an episodic structure really jingles my bells, if you know what I'm saying. This isn't like Vader Immortal, which released all 3 parts for $10 each. When Vader Immortal released, they were released as separate games, and you knew that you were buying only part of the story. Most people that I've talked to did not realize that they're only buying part 1 of Jurassic Park when they bought it last year. Most of them didn't realize that they'd have to spend another $15 just to finish the game. So overall, I mean, I have nothing against episodic structures, but it needs to be done right, and the company failed at communicating their intentions, and that comes off as something really scummy. Honestly, as scummy as your toilet bowl. Lone Echo 2 just released a second release date for October 12th. The game was originally set to release back in August, but got delayed until now, and I'm frankly really excited for this game. As I've said before, the game is fantastic and really demonstrates how beautiful and immersive VR can be, especially with a PC. that game still ranks as one of the most graphically beautiful games in VR, almost more than Half-Life Alyx, and it is several years old. I can only imagine how good the sequel is going to look and feel, and I will definitely be streaming this game as soon as it releases. Resident Evil 4 is a long anticipated title for the Oculus Quest, and we finally have a release date. That's early enough for us to enjoy it for Halloween, by the way. The game will release on Quest 2 exclusively on October 21st. The game will be larger than other games so far, requiring about 12 gigabytes of space to install it, and then using a final 7.8 gigabytes of storage once installed, which isn't that much compared to like The Walking Dead, but it's still quite a bit. Now, the big story behind Resident Evil is that they are actually removing certain aspects of the game to make it appropriate today. Specifically, sexual harassment, sarcastic expressions, sexist conversations, and expressions that may be indirectly linked to them have all been removed, all at the request of Facebook. Personally, I would like to play the game as faithfully to the original as possible, but I can see why Facebook might want to remove certain aspects that just don't feel appropriate in 2021, especially considering that most people playing this VR version will be playing the game for the first time right now. All of that said, I read some of the dialogue changes that they made, and frankly, some of it is kind of ridiculous and just doesn't make any sense, even by 2021 standards. For example, at one point, Leon comments, "Guess there's no sex discrimination here," when examining a corpse of a woman pinned to the wall by an axe. Now, in the censored version, he just says, "Guess no one's safe here." Now, I don't know if I'm just missing context or something, but this change seems a bit stupid if you ask me. All of these changes are in spite of the previous statements that all cutscenes would be present in their original format. So, that's great to know that they're honest, at least, you know. Just this week, we got a bombshell announcement from out of nowhere that Medal of Honor, Above and Beyond, that disaster of a game that released for PC VR forever ago, that game will be coming out on Quest, and it will require 40 to 45 gigabytes of space, by the way, barely small enough to fit on the 64 gigabyte model of the Oculus Quest 2. Now, this Quest release is undoubtedly an attempt to recover from the massive financial hit the company must have taken when nearly everyone who played the game had something negative to say about it. My main complaint with the game was that it wouldn't run on my RTX 2060 system that ran pretty much every other VR game just fine. Now, I haven't tried it on my new 2080 Ti system, but I've heard people say that even with a 3090, it's not running optimally. Knowing all that, I can't imagine what kind of sorcery the devs must have done to port this game over to the Quest and have it running smoothly. Like, seriously, what kind of satanic ritual did you do to optimize the game to run on the Oculus Quest? One thing I did find interesting is that they spent a significant chunk of the trailer hyping the multiplayer mode of the game, which most people who did have a NASA PC capable of running it did say was the most redeeming part of the game. The problem is there's only like 5 people in the world who play VR with a 3090, so the multiplayer lobbies weren't exactly full. Unfortunately, while the game will support crossbuy, it won't support crossplay between the two versions. So while the Quest version will have some life, if you did like the PC version and you did like the multiplayer mode, you're just gonna have to get a Quest if you want to have some lobbies full. Blade and Sorcery, the game that really digs into my most carnal desires to do the worst things imaginable to humankind, might be coming to the Oculus Quest at some point. The studio made it clear that they didn't want to promise anything, but that they're looking into it. Now, if you ask me, if you're a VR dev with a popular PC VR title, or you're coming out with a new game and you're not making a version for the Quest, you're either stupid or just hate money. I used to say that if it were a high-end title like Half-Life Alyx, it makes sense to be PC VR only, because it would only run well on a computer. You know, it wouldn't run on mobile. Well, if games like Medal of Honor and The Walking Dead can run on the Quest, I'm curious to see what other games could end up running on the hardware given enough optimization. And with Valve turning towards standalone hardware in some respects, it seems like, it's become very clear that standalone systems can do impressive things that I thought were once only possible if linked to a PC. Now, all that said, I don't want to go back to the PC VR is dead argument, because if we're getting games like Medal of Honor to run well on Quest, then it's a natural deduction that games will have even better graphics and run even better when on a PC. PC VR will always be better than mobile, but mobile VR is very impressive in its own right. Larcenauts just released a new character, a new map, and a new game mode in their Xarius Heist update. The new character is Imperia, a ranger class that wields a bow and arrow as well as some new healing abilities, and the new map is called Thunderhead and is basically a remote citadel. We also have the new heist mode, and it all seems pretty cool. It's nice to see developers adding more content to their games without trying to pry every single penny from consumers that they possibly can. Last week, I played Blast On for the first time to try out the new Quick Draw mode, which adds a Wild West mode to the game. I just gotta say, this game is fantastic. If you haven't tried Blast On yet, you really need to try it. The little things about it make me really feel like I'm in the Oasis. Like the fact that you can travel through some hallways, through an alleyway to a literal bar to meet up with friends that you want to play with. I mean, that's just amazing. This unique way of integrating multiplayer into the game really adds to the immersion and really makes me want to play this game more. Honestly, the only thing that could have made the immersion better is if they added some advertisements to the arena, just, to add a little bit more immersion. Zenith VR, an MMO for VR that has been in development for several years now, just received funding of $10 million. To put that into perspective, their Kickstarter in 2019 only earned $280,000, which is a lot, but almost nothing compared to $10 million. I'm personally really happy with the news because I love the concept of the game, and I got to play the alpha version a couple of months back. And at the time, I had several criticisms regarding the general direction the game was going, and that was based off of my experience playing the alpha and partially on some false information one of the devs gave me in the Discord when I brought up some of my concerns. And anyways, long story short, I was very excited for this game and kind of let down by my experience in the alpha, which made me realize the game was going to be a lot different than what it originally sounded like it was going to be. And that could be because they didn't have the power, the employees, like they had these big ideas and who knows if they'll be able to implement them. Well, now with all of this additional funding, they're currently hiring for several positions, and as more people fill those positions, they'll have the manpower to make the game what they originally want it to be. I'm super excited to see how this turns out and what they're able to do with the game, and I still think it's going to be one of the best MMOs for VR. That said, the game was originally set to release sometime this year, but I'll honestly be really surprised if it releases even early next year. Population 1's final of 4 post-Season 2 events is starting this week on October 7th. In this final event, you'll have to choose to be on Team Light or Team Dark and compete by collecting more crystals than the opposing team. The leaderboards will show which side is winning, and as part of this, they're also bringing back the Legions mode, which was very popular. I'll be streaming this game this week, and honestly, I don't know which side I'm going to pick. My favorite character skin right now is the dark side. It's that Sargoth, I think is his name, the Night Dude. I think he falls on the dark side, so maybe I'm just going to pick that side, but I don't know. Let me know what you think I should pick down in the comments. Now, before we end, I like showing memes or something that made me laugh this week related to VR. So if you want to send me your VR memes, join the Discord in the description. But one thing that made me laugh this week was this article from Tom's Guide titled "The Best Oculus Quest 2 Games That You Can Buy," and the very first entry, Half-Life Alyx. Now, there's a lot of bad media coverage of VR, but this right here sure takes the cake. This is downright ridiculous. This is fantastic reporting, just journalism at their best. Half-Life Alyx is not a Quest 2 game that you can buy. Sure, you can play it on the Quest with a VR-capable PC, but it is not, as the article title says, an Oculus Quest 2 game that you can buy. This is just straight up misleading and wrong. And that's it for this video, so go on, get out of here, go play some games or something. Go delete some games so you can make space for Medal of Honor. Go delete all those stupid games that you know you're never gonna play because you're too obsessed, too addicted to Population 1 or Onward or whatever. Go delete Beat Saber because why not? Who cares? Just go delete Beat Saber. Go delete your favorite games too. Go on, just go do something. Why are you still here? Why are you still watching this video? Go on, get out of here before I go and eat your